Welcome, everyone, to the Red Raider Report. I'm Zach Long with the Lubbock Avalanche-Journal. Beside me, Adam Zubanich. And Adam, the Texas Tech Nation, probably not in a real good mood this week. They go to Oklahoma, and just there's no kind way to say it. They got absolutely destroyed by Oklahoma, 65-21. You expect to be tough on the road in the Big 12, but did you expect that result that we saw in Norman Saturday night?
No, I didn't. And like a lot of experts, if you saw picks this last week, a lot of people thought Oklahoma would win. I also thought the Sooners would win, especially playing at home. It was senior day. They knew what was in front of them, a big game. But I didn't expect it to be a blowout like that. I thought it would be a close game. Really, the Sooners came out and took it to Tech right at the get-go, and the Red Raiders really never responded. You can see before the game even, as the teams were warming up on the field, as the stands were filling up, you can just see that the Sooners had a lot more energy. They had a little bit more giddy up in their step.
Right.
They seemed to really be ready for the moment and really chomping at the bit to get out there and play. Not to say Tech went through the motions, but I think the Sooners just had way too much energy. They really played out of their minds, and Tech was forced to pretty much take it.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere there was unbelievable, and once they got the lead, and I think the key moment is once the crowd figured out they could have an effect on Texas Tech's offense and audibles, it really got worse and became extremely tough for them. But, Adam, Texas Tech really can't dwell on this. They can't afford it because, as we know here, they're still alive in the Big 12 South and the BCS for that matter.
That's right. There's a lot to play for. You still have to play Baylor this week. You have to bounce right back. And the thing, Texas Tech, yeah, it was a bad loss. It ruined your chance for a national championship, an undefeated season. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. There's a lot of great teams out there that have one loss. And now Texas Tech is right there with them. Obviously they're behind some of those other teams in the rankings and the BCS standings. But Texas Tech has to refocus. They have to forget about last week and get ready to play Baylor. If they don't beat Baylor, they're going to slip, and go to the Who Cares Bowl.
Exactly.
After fans were talking about possibly a trip to the BCS National Championship. But, like you said, there's still a lot out there for Texas Tech. If Oklahoma loses and Texas Tech wins, Texas Tech is playing in the Big 12 championship game for the first time. So I think Texas Tech needs to come out and win this one. Even if it doesn't fall out that way and they don't go to the Big 12 championship game, the Red Raiders are sure to go to a great bowl this year again, a year after going to the Gator Bowl, as long as they finish 11-1. And Mike Leach, afterward, I think he kind of came to a realization after the game.
Right.
He knew what happened. He didn't try to sugarcoat it, but he also said, "You know what? I'm proud of what our guys have accomplished this year. They have, they still have a lot to play for."
You bet.
And that's right. They have to put it behind them.
Okay, and Adam, you talk about. I'll give you a chance real quick. It is still a wide open race, and we all know that if all three of those teams in the top of the Big 12 win this week, we are going to have a mess. It's going to be a three-way tie determined by the BCS computer. So right now, Adam Zubanich, you're the BCS computer. What do you do?
Well, I think what happens is if Oklahoma, Texas, and Texas Tech all finish tied with one loss in the Big 12 South, I think the nod will probably go to Oklahoma. This week in the BCS standings, Texas was second behind Alabama, and OU was a close third behind Texas. But the fact that Texas is hosting Texas A&M, which is last place in the Big 12 South, and Oklahoma has to go play number 11 Oklahoma State in Stillwater. So if the Sooners win that game, their strength of schedule should get enough of a boost, I think, to put them over Texas. And as we probably have heard by now, if there is a three-way tie, the final BCS standings
determine
the tie and determines who goes to the Big 12 championship game. So I think under that scenario, I can't imagine it not being the Sooners. I think Texas would have an outside chance if it came to the BCS. Texas Tech appears to be out of the picture at 7th.
Right.
But, like you said, any scenario of wins or losses could put any of the three teams in the Big 12 title game.
Right.
If Oklahoma loses and Texas Tech wins, it's Texas Tech.
Texas Tech for head-to-head.
Right, because of the head-to-head meeting. If Texas Tech loses to Baylor, then it's Texas, assuming Texas wins.
Right.
If Texas loses to Texas A&M, then it's Oklahoma.
Right. And Adam, we talk about the Baylor Bears, Texas Tech's opponent this week. And real quick, kind of break down to us the key components of this, a deceptive football team at 4-7. They destroyed Texas A&M in their last game out, 41-21.
That's right. From what I've seen of Baylor so far, they're definitely making strides. They're definitely getting a lot better under Art Briles in his first year as head coach.
Right.
They've had some games where they appear to have turned a corner. They put a beat down on Texas A&M, 41-21. They almost beat Missouri. They only lost to
in Columbia too.
Yeah, in Columbia. Early in the year they had a 3-point loss at Connecticut. And of course they've also had some stinkers. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma,
right?
Texas. Some of those top teams that haven't really been able to get their offense going. So I'm not sure which one we'll see on Saturday. I think it really depends on how well Texas Tech plays. It could be the Baylor team that can't score more than 10 points.
Right.
Or it could be the Baylor team that comes close to or even pulls off an upset. But make no mistake about it, Baylor is definitely a program on the rise. I think we've seen that this year despite their record. They've got a lot of young players. Of course, Robert Griffin, the sensational freshman quarterback, the only player in Baylor history to rush for at least 10 touchdowns and throw for at least 10 touchdowns in the same season. He's awfully impressive.
Yeah.
He's going to be very good the next couple of years. His favorite receiving target, Kendall Wright, is also a freshman. The running back, Jay Finley, is the sophomore. Their two best defensive players are juniors. So, this is a team really looking to finish the year on a high note and build the next year. And they certainly are building. So, this maybe not be a gimme like Texas Tech fans probably would normally expect from Baylor. I mean, the Red Raiders have beaten them 12 times in a row. Texas never lost to Baylor since Big 12 play started in '96. But this is not the same Baylor Bears team. We'll see on Saturday.
Yeah, and like Adam said, Robert Griffin extremely talented. 2,000 yards passing, 744 rushing. It should be a good game. That's a 2:30 start on the Versus Network live from Jones AT&T Stadium, and that's going to do it for this episode of the Red Raider Report. For Adam Zubinich, I'm Zach Long. We'll see you next time.